Well, hello there, Stampers. This is Sheila with Stamping Wishes, and as promised, I'm here this evening to make my June thank you card, and it's a quick, easy, but I think fun little thank you card. So here's one that I made using the Coastal Cabana and the Whisper White, and then I used the new DSP Follow Your Art Designer Series paper. I just love that paper. So, and I also used some of the Roca Rose as far as the print to bring some of that color out of the DSP. But I thought it would be fun. We're going to make it out of these colors tonight. And so let's talk about the supplies we used, and then I'll get into the measurements. I'm using the new punch. I love these punches when they come out with them, the tag punches, because there's so many different fun things you can make with them, with the 3D items, or like this, a little tag. You know, there's just, it's limitless as to what you can make with it. So we're going to be using that. And then I'm using from the Bloom and Grow. I liked the thank you from the bottom of my heart, because I really feel that when people order supplies from me and become a customer, it really is from the bottom of my heart that I'm very appreciative of it. So we're using that. And then Kindness and Compassion, absolutely loves this font. So we're going to be using the thank you for the front of it. And then for the inside, just to give it a little something, I decided we'd use this stamp here just to stamp up real quick, again, because I want this to be quick and easy for everybody. All right, so let's go ahead and get started talking about our measurements. We're starting off with a Whisper White, and that Whisper White measures 1 3/4 by 2 1/2. Then we have our Crushed Curry, which is 2 by 2 3/4. We have our DSP, which is 2 3/4 by 4. Another piece of the Crushed Curry, which is 3 by 4 1/4. Then we have 2 of the Whisper Whites that are 4 by 5 1/4. One's for the inside and one's for the layer on the outside. And then, of course, our Crushed Curry is 5 1/2 by 8 1/2. And we'll be folding that in half or scoring it at 4 1/4, whichever your preferred method of making your cards are. So I'm going to get in here and just do it in half with my bone folder, just to save on the amount of equipment on my desk. Okay, and I'm hoping to keep this in where I need to. I'm going to real quickly put the layer on the front here. I normally like to use my liquid glue. I feel like sometimes they take roughness a little bit longer than your snail glue does, but it is much faster when you're using snail glue. And I just tell everybody, make sure that you press down real well so that it adheres, and make sure wherever you want it to be that you're not changing your mind. So let's go ahead real quickly and stamp up the inside. I've already got it set up here on my Stamparatus, which I love. I don't know what I did before it. In fact, I've actually got 2 Stamparatus. One I use where I leave my, if I'm using the photopolymer like I'm using right now, I leave the pad in it. And then my other one, I take the pad out because it just makes it faster when I'm doing multiple layers of items. And it doesn't look like that's, oh, it's like supposed to line up over here. Okay, let's do that. I've been doing a couple of different cards, so I've got different markings on my paper. Not quite ready. Okay, that looks good. And I think for, I like the 2 colors together, which is the Coastal Cabana and the Crushed Curry together. So what we're going to do is go ahead and use the Coastal Cabana on our lettering for the front and the inside. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's wipe off this. Okay, so let's go over here and give it a good press and see if we need to ink it again or if we got it on the first try. Oh, that looks good. Okay, so let's go ahead and do our bottles while we're here. And there again, I just assume kind of stick with the color that we've done on the inside, but you could do it different colors if you wanted to. So let's go ahead and do that. Isn't that a beautiful crisp design on these stamps? I just love them. I plan on doing quite a few cards with those. Okay, so we're done with our Stamparatus. Let's move it out of the way and go ahead and put this, adhere it into the inside of our card as well. So we're done with the inside and the first layer of the outside. Then all we have to do is put together a couple of more layers and we'll be done. As I mentioned, this is a fast one, which I like to do for my thank you cards, because when you have to do several of them, you want to be able to do something that everybody will enjoy, but at the same token, you have to be able to do them quickly as well. So while I'm getting these pieces, I'm going to adhere the DSP to this, and we can layer that on in there. But wanted to talk a couple of minutes about, if you're watching this from YouTube, be sure and go over to my blog. I've got my retired stamps being uploaded right now, and there's a little button on there that says retired stamps, and it's a BOGO sale. So what that means is by going in there and finding, let's say you find $75 worth of a few sets of the retired items that you like, and if you take and go onto my Stampin' Up! Store and purchase out of the new catalog the equivalent of that $75, let's say, then I will ship you the retired items at no cost to you. They're free. The only thing you have to pay for, of course, is the shipping rate on it, and I won't know that until I know the number of items that someone purchases. But I will take and get the best rate I can and put as many items that I can get into one package to save postage however I can on that. But again, I'm going to do this BOGO sale to begin with. I'm going to be looking at all of June and through the 15th of July, and we'll see how that goes. And we'll extend it if we need to, or I may just go back into the regular pricing on our retired items. But anyway, be sure and join me over there and look every day, because I am uploading. I've got about 2 more boxes to film and upload into the program and stuff that goes in there, so be sure and look at that. Okay, so I'm going to put this down flat against there. I used dimensionals when I put my little tag on, but for the rest of the card I went ahead and just did the surface of it. So let's go ahead and put that in and bring this to the center where it looks like the center to me, and that looks good. So let's put that down and set this aside for a second. Okay, I like to go ahead and punch these before I try and stamp on it. That way I make sure that I've gotten it fairly balanced correctly. So I'm going in here, and this is the one that is 1 and what did I say it was, 1 3/4. So I'm going to go in here, and that looks about even, and I could turn it upside down too, but I'm going to trust my eyes on this one and make sure that I got it. So here we go. Looks good. Looks like I was able to get it right on where it needed to be. Okay, so this one is the 2-inch one, and that it's probably a little, like a tad over it, but what I'm going to do is just go ahead and go on in there and get it as close into the center, just like the other one. Okay, and that looks good too. So we've got our pieces there, and let's go ahead and bring our Coastal Cabana back over here and stamp our thank you. And I am stamping it at an angle, kind of gives it a fun, different look, and plus it allowed me to use a smaller piece of this. So let's go ahead and put this in there and press and hold for our 10-second rule. Beautiful. So let's go ahead and wipe this one off. All right, so we can close our Coastal Cabana. We don't need it for anything else. Okay, and let's put this on, and then we'll put dimensionals on the back of it. Now I went ahead and tied a couple of bows. One is in I don't have some of the newest ribbon here for these different colors and stuff, but I did have some of my ribbon in the color, so I want to try and use this. I'm sitting here forgetting that I'm in the camera and pulling that to myself. Okay, so that looks good there. Let's go ahead and put some dimensionals on the back. But anyway, with the ribbon, I did 2 different colors. I did a Coastal Cabana one in Crushed Curry. I really, again, accenting with the different colors that I'm doing, and I think we'll put this about right there. Looks good. But anyway, I could put the Crushed Curry, well, I could put it there if I take my little labels off, huh? That always helps to make them stick. Okay. So we're going to put it right about there again. Looks good. All right, so I can put this one on here, which of course goes with the color scheme, or I can go with the color scheme that I used for that, and I kind of like that. Again, it gives it a breakup of the color, so I think that's the direction we're going to go. And I'll go ahead and use a glue dot. And something else, I don't know if y'all ever do this with our ribbon, but when you open a package of ribbon and you start using it, you know, sometimes you have that little problem with it wanting to go onto the, you know, off the roll and be loose and everything. Well, what I like to do is the first time that I cut it and I no longer have the original covering, is I like to take one of my glue dots and I put it right here on the top. Press hard enough. And then what I do is when I cut my ribbon, it usually will flow around, even if the tail is a little bit longer or barely short, it usually will come back to that. And if I need to, I can pull that off, but it makes it stay nice and together on that. So in that length of time, we have a completed thank you card. I want to thank you for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let's bring the other one over so you can see we can do it in a lot of the different colors. We can use the grays behind there. We can use the Roca Rose, the new one. Looks like we've got some of the, what is that? I've got one of my markers here. Blueberry Bushel, looks like that color that's in there. And then of course we have our Coastal Cabana and our Crushed Curry. So a lot of different varieties and colors you can use with this designer paper. So until next time, thank you for stopping by and God bless.